What's up everybody, my name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today is Wednesday, June 3rd. Now in today's dog video, I want to do a presentation regarding the Binance linked wallet network. Now what we've been talking about over the past couple months, especially ever since April 13th, is that I've been covering and exposing how these Binance wallets have been accumulating dog behind the scenes without you knowing. But you must be wondering, how long has this been happening? Which wallets have been accumulating? And also, are there more wallets out there? You must be wondering, how much of the supply do they own? Well, this video is only going to cover the top 1,000 dog wallets. And sooner or later, I think we're going to be covering the top 10,000 dog wallets. But in today's video, we're just going to be covering the top 1,000 dog wallets. And so let's cover all the different wallet clusters that are related to the Binance exchange and the Binance Ordinal hot wallet that have been accumulating dog. So by supporting this channel, and if you like supporting this content and you want more content like this, it would really mean a lot if you smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X. Please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I'll never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email. So please be careful and invest safely. Guys and girls, let's get right into it. Now, before we begin, I want to give a huge shout out to Ordinals Al. Now, please, if you can, follow Ordinals Al. Now, what he has done is that he downloaded all the 1,000 wallets that we're going to be covering today. He sent them over to me, and he was able to get this data by using Xverse API data. So please, if you can, support this person, follow him, comment on his page, because if you've noticed, he also shared this specific image on his breakdown of how Binance has been accumulating dog, especially after this specific period after May and June of 2025, how they've been accumulating at an excessive accelerating rate. Now, we're going to cover that, but you also have to pay attention to this. Now, he did point out not too long ago, as of this morning, that on May 23rd, 2024, which I was aware of, but this is actually going to pay tribute to what we're going to be presenting today, is that Binance Research had published an article talking about the future of Bitcoin tokens, and that's regarding covering the Runes protocol. Now, you have to check out this article if you haven't seen it already. This article is pretty much covering on how Runes outweighs and outpaces BRC20 tokens. So they were very bullish on Runes protocol just based on the research team that they had there. But we're going to cover this, and we're going to also cover why this date is actually very specific into the presentation, May 23rd of 2024. But first, we got to cover the executive summary. What are the key findings that we're going to be covering in this video? Well, basically on the top 1,000 wallets, there are 254 that are connected to this cluster of Binance wallets. Now, 41 of these wallets are suspicious, which we will cover the majority of this video. Then there are 206 Binance user connections, which we're going to cover 70 of these that really caught my eye. And these 70 are going to be considered dog reserves that Binance has used to take dog off of exchanges or buy dog on chain and just send small amount of dog to these dog reserves to maybe use later on, maybe to manipulate the price or just to hold on in case there is a potential listing coming up for another big exchange. Who knows, right? But also there are 654 suspicious transactions recorded within these 254 wallets. And within these 254 wallets, there's also 13 core infrastructure wallets identified, 9 clustered wallets that are the core of these 1,000 wallets, and also 11 billion dog tokens. It's actually less than that are held within the top 9 wallets. That's really important because these 9 wallets aren't just the 9 that are holding the 10 billion. These 9 wallets are distributing these like 10 to 11 billion tokens. So this is much higher than what we predicted before, because initially I thought there was 7 billion tokens to 8 billion tokens that these Binance linked wallets had held. But because thanks to Ordinals Al, we were able to cover the top 1,000 wallets, it's actually increased now to close to 11 billion. Now there are 22 max transactions just from one wallet, and I will talk about that in just a little bit. So the key finding is that these coordinated cluster of wallets holding roughly up to around 11 billion dog tokens is operating within this Binance infrastructure that uses 3 intermediary financial bridges, which I've talked about, and Binance Ordinal hot wallet acting as the root node. And this is with direct on-chain links to the intermediary wallets, then fan out to the market makers, whale wallet accumulations, even the dog reserves for that matter. So let's talk about the core infrastructure first, okay? So let's talk about how it all starts from the Binance Binance Hot Wallet, financial bridges, and market makers. So basically this is the Binance Ordinal Hot Wallet address, which is ending in DU7D. Now it does have two intermediary wallets that are directly connected to the Binance Ordinal Hot Wallet, and also Whale Wallet number 11, which is also part of this whole Binance linked cluster of network. But then there are lower ranked wallets like rank wallet number 106. This also has roughly around 63 million dog tokens. We also have another wallet right here ranked 324 as 24 million dog tokens. Another wallet right here ranked 475, 19 million dog tokens, and also another wallet within the top 1,985 ranking around 10 million dog tokens. Then we have to talk about the layer 2 stage, which is basically the financial bridges. Now we've talked about these intermediary wallets. They serve as financial bridges. So let's talk about the first one. The first financial bridge ending in 34AR is connected to market maker number 1, market maker number 2, whale wallet number 7, 23, and multiple rank 1 and 2 wallets, which by the way is BitGet and Gate.io. Then there's intermediary wallet number 2, which has a broader reach. It's connected to all the whales, both the market makers, and has the highest transaction with suspicious wallet, which is BitGet, with 22 transactions, just with that alone. And then there's intermediary wallet number 3. It actually has the lowest amount of trading going on with this whole Binance cluster. So if anything, this is more of like a secondary routing. So I wouldn't really pay attention to intermediary wallet number 3. Now, let's talk about the layer 3, which is the trading layer. Market maker number 1, which is number 29, ending in EAE9. We've talked about this wallet a lot. And market maker number 2, which is ranked number 5. This is one of the most heavily traded market makers out there. Now, market maker number 2 ranks 5 overall in the dog holdings and over 2 billion tokens overall that it holds. And it's indicating that it's not just rooting wallet, but it's also a majority of accumulation. This is the wallet that uses the most trading and accumulates dog off-chain on the centralized exchanges and withdraws back into these smaller wallets. Now, number 2, we have to talk about whale wallet profiles. So basically 9 out of the top 1,000 dog holders embedded within the cluster. Now, these are the 9. If you notice, it's whale wallet number 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 23, and 31. And as you can see how much dog tokens that they hold as of right now, how many transactions that they've held. Look at the number whale wallet number 7. Whale wallet number 7 really stuck out because it has over 1,000 dog transactions. But let's move on to the next thing, which is the highest balance of clusters. So like I said, whale wallet number 6, 7, and also 9. Number 7 being the most active. And this one is ending in A8NX. Remember, I've talked about this wallet before. It's connected to market maker number 1, 2, intermediary wallet number 1, and whale wallet number 31 and 23. And don't worry, we're going to look at diagrams very, very soon. So let's go into the connected wallet analysis. Basically, we're going to compare suspicious connections versus coincidental Binance users. So are these coincidental wallets basically, people who own a Binance account that also trade BRC20 tokens and runes, or is it actually dog reserves? So let's cover that. So what's the difference between suspicious wallets and also the coincidental wallets? So basically the suspicious wallets, how are you able to determine these 41 wallets are very suspicious, which is very important? Well, basically, direct hot wallet links. So are they directed to and connected to the Binance Ordinal Hot Wallet address? Well, they have to be in order to see that they are suspicious. So they definitely have direct transactions with the Binance Ordinal Hot Wallet. Also interactions and transactions with the intermediary wallets, which serve as financial bridges. And also we need to keep in mind, do they have connections to the market makers? Yes, they have to have connections to the market makers and the financial bridges. And they also have to have high transaction frequencies within this core cluster. So now let's look over to the right side, which is the dog reserves. Now, these are the coincidental categories. This is basically the 200 wallets or the 202 wallets that are in a coincidence. But to me, I actually spot that there were roughly 70 wallets that served as dog reserves, which basically means that these wallets have a small amount of dog, but do have transactions with market maker number 1 and market maker number 2. Which is actually interesting. Now, what are these 70 wallets? Well, basically, these 70 wallets, as I said, are basically dog reserve wallets that serve as Binance exchange users, which there is no users. These are just like mimicking users who buy dog on the open market. So they can buy it off of BitGet or Gate.io or any other exchange, or maybe even on decentralized exchange when Magic Eden was around, Unisat, you name it. Then, when they withdraw dog to their personal wallets, the tokens come from the Binance liquidity pool, which includes the market maker. here in the whale wallets in the cluster. That's the liquidity pool that we're talking about today. This creates an on-chain footprint connecting them to the cluster nodes. Now, these 70 dog reserves up to 202 coincidental wallets could own roughly around 15 billion dog tokens, which is roughly 15% of the supply, but that's not confirmed yet. I'm still doing research on that. When I look at these specific wallets, what I've noticed is that BitGet is actually the #1 wallet where these basically market makers like to use this exchange in order to have some influence over the dog price, to buy dog off of like BitGet, and also Gate.io down here to remove it back to these highly active top 15 wallets. This is the directory that I want to share with you, which I think is actually quite interesting. On the right hand side, it has the connected entities, how they're connected to all the different whale wallets, financial bridges, and market makers themselves. Now, I remember not too long ago, I shared with you this image of basically the Binance research paper that was published on May 23rd. Well, let's go back over to this image over here. So this is basically the activity timeline, okay? The activity timeline actually shows you how these 39 to 41 suspicious wallets have been accumulating dog price. Now, this is May. Notice what happened in May. This is when the Binance research paper came out, is when the accumulation actually started. This is when 4 out of the 39 wallets started actively accumulating dog. Now, what you'll notice is that there is this orange part, which is inflows. Basically, these 4 wallets are actually accumulating dog, putting more dog into their wallets. And then there's this like blue little section right here. This blue is outflow. So that just shows you how much they're selling that's being removed from their wallets, maybe back onto exchanges to sell. But as you can see, in May, they were accumulating a lot more than they were selling. Now, what I've noticed in this specific diagram is the different ways of accumulation, right? And this is different from Ordinals Owls. So this is Ordinals Owls diagram that shares with you the different ways of how much they've been accumulating. This is not the same as this, because this isn't about token supply. This is about how these wallets have been very active, right? So that's different from what we saw in the previous image, which is how Binance has been accumulating, how much they've been accumulating in 5 different waves. This is different. This is basically just a diagram showing how these wallets have been showing activity through these different waves. But check this out. In wave 5, have you noticed something? There's been a lot of silence and also a very minimal amount of wallets have been active during this time. And I get it. It's because dog price has been up and down, up and down. So it's not really incentive for basically these wallets to buy dog when it's extremely high. But have you noticed ever since dog price has been going downwards, you've been seeing more wallets being born, meaning Binance has been creating new wallets, and there's been massive accumulation and also price suppression. Because massive accumulation could look like this, where basically the orange bars are massive. But then there are days like this where there's more outflows, okay? Have you noticed that there's more outflows than there are inflows as the price is going down? But I also want you to notice something. Look at April. Look at April of 2026. Remember, April 13th is the day that I exposed Binance linked wallets. Guess what they did during this time? There were 15 out of 39 wallets that were active that day. And it was the largest day of selling that we've ever seen in the history of dog ever regarding these Binance clusters. That was all coordinated because they wanted you to sell your bag, because they also knew they got caught. We caught them. And so what they're saying is there's massive sell-off right here, making you think that we're heading down. But guess what happened the following month in May? Massive accumulation. Look how different that is. There's accumulation, sell-off, accumulation from March, April, May. This was all on purpose. When you have all these days from February mass accumulation, March accumulation, we even have over here November, December accumulation, even over here January accumulation. But all of a sudden there's just the April month where there's massive outflows and sell-off. Then there's more accumulation. This is why this is very suspicious, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a coincidence. This is all on-chain data to tell you what's really going on with Binance linked wallets. Now, here's another thing I want to share with you, which is basically dog token holdings. So as I mentioned in the very beginning of the video, based on all these Binance linked wallets forming a core cluster, they own roughly around 10.71 billion dog tokens, rounding up to around 11 billion dog tokens. So this is much higher than what we predicted, because I was doing this all manually. Thankfully, we had Ordinals Al who sent me these top 1,000 wallets, and I was able to track down all this thanks to Claude. And this is something that Claude just cannot miss. Claude is literally literally AI that does all the data for you. And when you're seeing all this, this is absolutely outstanding. It's kind of outrageous, but this just goes to show you, when you look at the core infrastructure based on suspicious wallets, this all adds up to around 10.71 billion dog tokens that they have. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and click on this button because this is basically the dog reserves. The reason I'm not going to click on this button is because I haven't gathered the top 10,000 wallets that Ordinals Al is going to send me. So once I get that data, I will then show you how much they own in the dog reserves as backup reserves, right? This isn't counting for what we're seeing here. So this percentage could be much higher. Now here's a fun little diagram, okay? So basically, when you have these different tabs, let's look at the suspicious only wallets. Basically, these are all the wallets that are in red, how they're all connected to specific whales, also specific market makers, intermediary bridges, aka the financial bridges. You can even see, like, say for instance, wallet number 109. This has the most interactions with these different wallets over here. Let's look at wallet number 372, also connected to all of these. Can you see what's happening right now? This is all data, on-chain data, to tell you that they're all connected one after another. Then when you see these dots over here, these are like the 70 dots that are the dog reserves. Again, I'll cover this in a separate video, but these green dots share with you how much they've been accumulating on the sidelines, right? These are backup reserves that maybe one day they're going to use all these reserves to coordinate maybe selling pressure on, say for instance, BitGet. Maybe they're going to coordinate it on Gate.io. You never know, because these wallets that are the 70 are connected to market maker number 1 and market maker number 2. So definitely pay attention. This is an exciting diagram. This is really juicy stuff. Now let's talk about the network architecture. How are these wallet clusters structured and interconnected? Well, it basically looks like this. Okay, so Binance Ordinal Hot Wallet created 3 intermediary bridges, right? 1, 2, and 3. Now, basically, these 3 are going to serve as the main first cluster, and then the layer 2, which is the market makers, are going to serve the most work. They're going to do the most labor. So basically, Binance Ordinal Hot Wallet funds these intermediary bridges, which then transfer funds back into the market makers. And so these market makers do all the work hiding and disguising their trails back to Binance Ordinal Hot Wallet. But as you can see through all these lines, they all link to Binance Ordinal Hot Wallet. So if you say, for instance, click on wallet number 12, you can see that how they're all connected here. And also, basically, when you see all these suspicious wallets, they're all connected. It's not crazy to think this. I mean, when you look at the specific diagram, right, all these suspicious wallets have interconnected activities within these different layers. That's why I'm trying to share this image with you. And I can't click on all these different things because I just want you to see basically how this thing works. This is all on chain. I cannot believe what I'm seeing right here. But if you want to see the layered architecture of the Binance dog clusters, it's right here, right in front of you. Now, to kind of wrap it off, what are some key findings and conclusions based on what the on-chain data tells us? Well, let's look at that. Number 1, the coordinated accumulation structure. Basically, the cluster operates between 4 distinct layers: the hot wallets, the bridges, the market makers, and the whale wallet accumulators. This layered structure is characteristic of sophisticated, coordinated market activity, not organic retail wallet behavior. Then number 2, scale of holdings is market moving. These 9 cluster core wallets in the top 1,000 hold roughly up to 10.3 to even 10.7 billion dog tokens. And number 3, the bridge wallets are the diagnostic key. Now, the 3 intermediary financial bridges are not the top 1,000 holders. There's a reason for that. It's because they confirm that they are only pure routing infrastructure. Any wallet that transacts with them is almost certainly part of the coordinated network, not a coincidental user. Then number 4, activity is ongoing, ladies and gentlemen. It's still happening today. Even though the data shows that this runs up to May of 2025, it still runs up to June of this year. And also last, number 5, of the 254 top 1,000 wallets with any Binance cluster connection, 41 show definite suspicious patterns. And rank 1, which is BitGet, has one of the largest transactions with these Binance linked wallets. So basically, Binance has been using BitGet, Gate.io, as one of its main platforms to basically buy dog off-chain, influence dog off-chain, because if you can influence the price of dog off-chain within BitGet or Gate, it then will send a ripple effect of all the order books on MEXC and also Kraken, and that will again allow them to buy dog on the cheap. And here's a complete address reference in case you want to look this up, the core cluster wallet addresses. Now, this is the conclusion, right? The evidence strongly suggests that this is a coordinated Binance wallet cluster. They're all related to Binance. Now, number 1, market coordination risk. A single Binance affiliated entity controls up to 10.7 billion dog tokens across these 4 different layers. It's sufficient to significantly move the market at any time, which you're kind of noticing right now with the dog price. So don't be surprised that the dog price is down. It's all happening because of Binance. Now, the infrastructure is also operational. These financial bridges, these 3 that I've just talked about, pass through nodes representing an intentional infrastructure design. It's not organic retail wallet activity. This network remains active as of today, and the data is still current and ongoing as of June of 2026. Even though the block times run until May of 2025 based on what Xverse API data has shared with us, combined with the dog price up until June 2nd of 2026, this confirms that this is active and ongoing operation going on as of today, and the cluster continues as the price declines. So ladies and gentlemen, that is my presentation today. Now that you know what's actually going on, this chart right here makes absolute sense. But you know we are absolutely bullish on dog. The dog army is not fooled. This is why we cover on-chain data. You don't have to think about your emotions. You remove your emotions. You see what's really going on. Now, this is something that we can't see in like traditional finance, which is what's going on behind the scenes, the manipulation behind gold, stocks, precious metals, energy. This is what's great about on-chain cryptocurrency, is that you can see everything on the blockchain. So you don't have to go guessing or speculate. You can just look at on-chain data and see what's going on with this manipulation. And this is manipulation. Now, what is the reason that they're doing this? I cannot tell you why. Now, if you want to find out, you can contact Binance yourself. Ask them. Because remember, there is no team behind dog. So this is a community effort. Ordinals Al, say for instance, is a volunteer. He goes out of his own time to look up this data and send it to me. So if you're an investigator, if you want to do your research, if you want to find out why Binance is doing this, you need to ask them. You need to tag them. You need to pin them. Talk to CZ. Hey, you need to talk to Richard Tang, all these 3 CEOs and founders and why they're doing this. Something is very suspicious here. And I showed you all the different weird timing effects from the Binance research paper in May of 2024, all the way up to the sell-off that was coordinated on April of 2026, which again, we called out and exposed the Binance linked wallets. It was all happening for a reason. So next video that I hopefully will publish about this article and investigation will cover the top 10,000 wallets shared by Ordinals Al, because this is only covering the 1,000 wallets. And we'll hopefully dive deeper into the dog reserves, which are the 70 wallets and maybe even more. We'll see how that goes. But we're going to cover it in hopefully a future video coming up. It does take a little bit of time to do the research, validate all the research, make sure that it's all pretty much factual. But if you haven't already, please go ahead and go over to Ordinals Al. Make sure to follow him. He is absolutely beneficial to this dog research. I really like to thank him, and we'll keep you guys and girls updated as this progresses. So as always, we want to thank our sponsors, C2 Blockchain and Trucker Biff. Smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and updates regarding Dog and Moon. Till then, see you guys and girls next time.